Hi, this is Ryan with Springfield Leather Company. Thanks for coming back, and today we're making an SD card holder. Fun little pattern we've had out for a minute now. Just figured we'd make a video showing you how to put it together and what it's good for. So before we got together, I grabbed some veg tan, split down to 2 3-ounce, and I finished it by just applying an even coat of tan coat across the whole thing. So you can see I've got this nice rich Herman Oak veg color that you really want. And the piece I'm using today is pretty full of, bites, scars, fat wrinkles, things like that. The reason I wanted to use that is show that these pieces of leather that you've got left over at the end of a side, still good, still great to use. So the first thing I'm gonna do is trace out my back. So the back of this project is the external piece. You want that to be as clean as possible. So I'm gonna lay it up here where I've got a nice clean area and go ahead and trace it out. Normally I'd use a scratch awl, but I forgot to grab one, so today I'm using a fid because it works just the same. So over here on this hole and scar, I've gone ahead and traced what will be my interior, my main interior. It's the same size as the back, but it's got a big hole in the middle for our extra pockets to slot into. So those are going to be cut out anyway, not a problem. We get to work really efficiently with this leather. All these extra little areas we can fit our card pockets into. We've got all our pieces cut out of our leather here, and just quick show of the difference here between my back, the really nice part, and the pockets, or the interior where the pockets will cut out will be. And this lines up right where that interior cutout gets rid of those nasty parts. So we don't even have to worry about those. We're gonna have a nice clean project. So I'm gonna finish cutting out that window there, and then I'll show you guys the rest of the process. Just a lot of tidying up and hand sewing. This is a fun, quick project. Just like any other project, before you start your construction, you want to go through and bevel and burnish everything that you won't be able to get to later. On this project, that's going to be all your card pocket tops and this little opening here. It's just a lot easier to bevel and burnish this now than it is later. After we get everything beveled, it's time to burnish it up. I went ahead and saved a couple pieces here for you, and I wanted to make a note as well. I forgot to show cutting out the strap earlier. So we've got a strap here. This is the closure strap. It's right on the pattern. Tiny little piece, easy to fit on your leather. Wipe a little bit of gum trag on the edge. It truly does not take much. And then grab my burnishing cloth and just give it a very gentle little burnish. You gotta make sure you don't crush or kink your leather while you're doing this, so just be careful, try and hold it flat. And then we'll have a nice, smooth, shiny edge to have visible on our project. And like I said, these are all the edges you can get to now that you won't be able to get to later. It's going to be a lot harder to bevel and burnish these pockets when they're sewn down and divided with stitch lines. I don't think you'll have too much fun with it then. Now that we've got everything beveled, burnished, cut out, ready to rock, I'm going to go ahead and set this snap here in the strap. And you want the cap and socket on your strap, and then your stud and post go on the back of the body. Just like normal, using my little dot anvil with my line 20 setter, giving it a few light taps to get started, where I can get that curl moving the way I want it to. And go ahead and finish seating it. We're gonna move over to our back and put the other side of the snap in here. For this, it's symmetrical, so it doesn't matter which hole you start in with your hardware. Sounds like I'm hitting harder than it is just because of this wooden table. So with our snap in place, we're ready to rivet the strap to the body. Simple enough here, just line up your holes and push your rivet on through. I personally enjoy a flat set rivet rather than domed, so I just like to use the back of my dot anvil and a polished hammer to knock that down. With that in place, we can set the back aside. We'll come back to it when we start putting everything together. Now we need to get our interior prepped. So this piece here lines up with your back like so. And you're gonna have card pockets on either end, as well as an insert that goes in this area that holds additional pockets. So let's start lining up our pockets here. I've got the pocket strips that we have already beveled and burnished, as well as the opening of this interior panel. Just like normal, quick basting tape around it. And this all lines up dead simple on this pattern. All you need to do is get the bottom of your pocket lined up with the outside of your panel. With those lined up, I'm going to move on to our inserts that go in the middle and get those pockets in place as well. That way we can just do kind of all of our sewing at once. So on these interior panels where you're going to hang some more pockets, they are not square, so just make sure you're aligned the right way. The pocket strip will fit one way and will be too long the other way, but just by about 1/8 of an inch or so. Now that we've got our pockets in place, I'm going to start clipping our corners. So the pattern has all the rounded corners marked on it for you. I personally prefer just to wait until I've got some of my assembly done, then I can clip those corners with some punches and have them all line up really sharp. On the interior piece here, all I use is a 20mm curved corner chisel. And just hit these corners all the way around. So once we've got that done, we're ready to start stitching our pocket dividers in. And once we've got that done, we'll be stitching it to our back. And when we get it glued up or taped to our back, that's when we'll round these corners off to make sure everything matches. On your internal pieces, I use the 20mm punch again on the corners where the cards will be, because that's a good radius to still hold a card but give you a nice round corner. On the opposite end of the pocket, you'll use a 30mm chisel or just take it by hand and taper it slightly. The only reason that's shaped that way is to make it a little bit easier to fit into this opening when you're putting it in place. So nothing too precise. I'm just going to use my basting tape as a guide here. Mark my curve I want to cut. And this is a fun trick if you're ever trying to replicate free-handed cuts. So once you've cut it, rather than trying to use my basting tape and match that exact curve again, because it's something that's a little squishy, a little soft, take that offcut I just made, and I'm just going to flip it face down on the other corner of my leather. Now I can use that as my guide for a scratch awl, or what I got here is a needle. Now you can just do the little bit of trim up to make them nice. And there you go. Pretty good, quick and even corner trick for you. I'm just going to use that to align my corners on the other side. Very careful when you're doing it with leather as a cutting guide, because, well, you're used to cutting through leather, so it's not hard to mess up. Last step we've got here before we start stitching is to go ahead and mark all of our stitch lines and where all of our pocket spacing is going to go. All your pockets are spaced evenly, so the fastest way to do it is just reference it with your wing dividers and mark those spots on your pattern. Going for a little over 1/8 of an inch stitch allowance on this, seam allowance, just because sometimes I like the way that slightly larger offset looks on a hand sewn project. Now I've got all my stitch lines marked, I've got my wing dividers adjusted to just right around 1 inch, but again it's marked on the pattern for you so you don't really need to measure it. And I'm just going to mark from my stitch line previously marked, right over, make a little mark, and just walk my dividers across. Once you've got your stitch lines marked, you're going to go ahead and mark your pocket dividers for your cards. Easiest way to do that is just line your pattern up right on the pocket. Take your scratch awl, or in my case again, a needle, and just make a little mark right at the end of each of those stitch lines. So I can use those later to line up my stitching groupers, or my stitching rake. So once we've got those marked, I'm just going to take my longest stitching punch I've got, the most teeth, line it up. If you want to, you can mark the tops and bottoms of your card pockets. I don't mind just eyeballing it, usually comes out pretty well. And you will stop just short of your border stitch line ideally. That way you can have a nice clean separation between the two stitch lines. Looks really sharp, or if you want to tie them together, go for that too, whatever works best for you. Easiest way to ensure you're going to have even spacing when you get down to the bottom on all your stitch lines for the pockets is to have an even start for all those stitch lines. And the way I do that is I will just line up one tooth of my punch with the edge of the pocket, and then stand it right up. That gives me one stitch that actually goes over the edge of the pocket, makes it a little extra secure, and makes sure that all those stitch lines are going to start and stop at the same point. Once you've got that in, sew those up, and once they're sewn, you're ready to punch holes into the back and sew these ones, which you can sew both sets of pockets at the same time on your interior flaps, because those are all held together, there's no opening to them. For your interior pockets, I only marked one of them for a perimeter stitch. Now I'm going to go through and mark it for our pockets. And before we start punching holes, I'm going to go ahead and basting tape this down to the other half of this insert. The top edge of these is joined, so we don't have to worry about being able to get in between these pockets. We'll just tape them up and sew them all at once. And we do not tape the bottom because that needs to split to go inside of our card holder. So again, the same alignment I was using before. And now that you're punching through so many layers, you've got to be really careful to hold your tool straight vertical in all directions. That way your stitch line comes out in the same spot on the back as it goes in on the front. And now we've got our stitch line to follow, so we don't have to be as bold and brave in our guessing if things are straight or not. Jump down to a smaller size around the corners, just the 2 prongs, so that way we can fit that curve. I'm using the 4mm stitching punches here. I like the round holes on a project like this. I think look really neat, especially something that's meant to be a daily carry kind of item. And back to our larger rake to finish out this stitch line. You'll notice I'm working my way back and forth from either end of this pattern. Since I'm using stitching punches, I didn't design the pattern to exactly fit any particular set of stitching punches, so that's kind of where the crafting comes in, is taking some time to really lay out and make sure things align and space the way they need to. So as I get close here, I can see if I cheat one way or the other, I'm going to have a slightly long stitch, but not long enough that it's going to cause an issue. If you do run into some issues with stitch spacing as you get towards closing that line, drop down to your 2-prong punch and just start working from either side, and you may eventually have to grab a single prong punch or just use a different tool to make that last hole so it all lines up nice and even. But with this one, the 4-inch set or 4mm set gets you pretty close, and you end up with a pretty even spaced set of holes. All that's left here is to stitch all this up, and it's just saddle stitching. We've got plenty of content on that, so I'll catch back up with you guys when we're ready to move on to the next step. We are back. I've got that sewing mostly done for you now. So my interior pieces are all ready to get sewn up to my back piece. So this inner pocket here, these don't get sewn any more than they are right now, just around those edges. I went ahead and beveled and burnished that complete edge as well. It will just tuck in like so once you're done putting it together, so you have some extra pockets there. But let's go ahead and start getting this all taped up and ready to sew so you can see the last steps. Once you're taped up here, there's no right side up for this, but just make sure your pockets are running along the body of your piece. So just get your edges lined up and get those corners square. Now that we are all taped up, I'm going to go ahead and start punching my holes. With this, I've got my scribe line on the inside here since I've already rounded those corners. So I'm just going to punch my holes that direction and get them all punched, then we'll round off the outside corners and start the hand stitch until we're done. Got our holes punched all the way around, transferred through cleanly to the back. Now all I need to do is trim up these corners and start sewing. So a couple ways you can do this. One, you can just trim flush with your knife, just bump up against that edge. Or I like to come back in with that corner chisel and just get really snug and cut that back. Then when I go to sand this before I do my edge finishing, a lot less meat to remove, and it's going to be a cleaner starting point because they're all at the same radius. We're back at the end of our project. Got it all stitched up, beveled and burnished, and it's looking good. It's a very simple little case, but you can see here we've got some cards in it. You can hold a lot more than that, but this is just showing, you know, it holds them snug. It's not a dangerously tight fit, but they're not falling out. So I'd say if you know anyone that does any photography, you do some yourself. This is a great little gift or great little project just to kill an afternoon and make a good little product. You have a great day, and thanks for crafting along.
Well, he uses his knife. I use mine once every 3 months.
And bevel these edges so I can get a nice burnish on this.
And it will be fantastic. So I can guarantee it.